Ok, clase, para este video vamos a hablar sobre el presente con los verbos regulares. So we are going to be talking about the present tense, zooming in and focusing on regular verbs. So before we begin anything, I just want to go over some important terms with you all that you're probably familiar with, but just in case. A verb. What is a verb? It's an action word in the sentence. Whenever I mention the word infinitive, again, we've discussed this before, but just as a reminder, when I say infinitive, I'm talking about the form of the verb before its conjugation. So its original form before messing with it, and it always means to something. Conjugation. That is changing the form of the verb to agree with the subject. And a subject is a person or thing performing the action of the verb. So let us begin. There are three different kinds of verbs in Spanish. There are AR verbs, ER verbs, and IR verbs. And what I mean by that is anytime you look at a verb and it's infinitive, meaning before it's conjugated or anything, every single verb, and there are hundreds and hundreds of them in the Spanish language, every single one of them is going to end in AR, ER, or IR. So let's take a closer look at AR verbs. Again, the infinitives end in AR. Some examples of AR verbs would be hablar, which means to speak, mirar, to look at, escuchar, to listen, and most of these were in your vocab. Estudiar, to study. ER verbs, again, the infinitives end in ER. Some examples would be comer, beber, leer, aprender. So notice they all end in ER. And then you have IR verbs. Some examples of these would be vivir, escribir, recibir, abrir. To live, to write, to receive, to open. Again, notice all these end in IR. Okay. Every verb in Spanish has 6 forms. Now, we are only doing 5 forms because, as I've told y'all multiple times, the 6th form is the vosotros, and vosotros is mostly used in Spain, other places as well, so we are not doing the vosotros form. Just note to self, every verb in Spanish has 6 forms, we are only learning 5. Okay, the 5 forms of the verb are inserted into 5 persons on a verb chart, okay? So you have first person singular and first person plural, you have second person singular, and you have third person singular and third person plural. Okay? The subject pronouns are then divided into 5 groups according to which form of the verb they use. So for example, you are already familiar with this as we have learned the verbs ser and tener, to be and to have, already. We've already learned those, so you're familiar with the subject pronouns, but just as a review. The singular pronouns are yo, tú, usted, él, and ella, meaning I, you formal, he and she, and the plural, nosotros, which is we, ustedes, ellos, and ellas. So you, formal, they, masculine, and they, feminine. So here's your singular subject pronouns, here's your plural. So the subject pronouns are inserted into the persons of the verb chart. So as you can see, this side is singular, this side is plural. So yo is first person singular, tú, second person singular, usted, él, ella, third person singular, nosotros, first person plural, and ustedes, ellos, and ellas, third person plural. Okay? Nothing new. We know this already. Now, here is the new part. Each kind of verb has a set of 5 endings, one for each person. So whenever we're dealing with AR verbs, here are the endings for AR verbs in the present tense. We have o, as, a, amos, and on. O, as, a, amos, and on. So o would be the yo form, as the tú form, a the él, ella, usted form, amos the nosotros form, and on the ellos, ellas, ustedes form. Okay? Here are the endings for ER verbs. O, es, hemos, en. So notice they're very similar to the AR verbs. Instead of the A's though, they're E's. Whoa. Okay? And then the IR verbs, guess what? They're the exact same as the ER verbs minus, or except this one. O, S, E, imos, in. So the only difference between ER and IR verb endings in the present tense is that the amos for ER verbs changes to emos when it comes to IR verbs. Okay? Now, there are 3 steps to conjugating a verb in Spanish. Step number 1, remove. Remove the infinitive ending, which would be the AR, the ER, or the IR from the verb stem. Step number 2, locate. Find the subject of the verb, which would be I, he, they, etc., in a person in the correct verb chart for the kind of verb you are using. Third step, replace. Replace the infinitive ending with the new ending found in the person in the verb chart by attaching it to the verb stem. So you may be thinking that's really wordy. Let me break it down for you a little bit more. Let's practice. If you want to say I speak, okay, here's the verb to speak, hablar. Follow the 3 steps using the AR chart. We'll take it slow. Step 1, remove. So here we have the verb hablar. Step 1 is remove. We need to remove the ending, which is AR. Bloop, and we are left with the stem. This is called the stem. We've removed the ending. Step 1 complete. Step 2, locate I on the verb chart, because again, I want us to say I speak. Translate I speak. So which one of these is I? You guessed it! Yo! Step 3, replace. Okay? So we know that the O, right, is the yo form. So we already took off the AR and we're going to replace it with the O. So our answer is yo hablo, which means I speak. Let's do another one. She eats. Comer is the verb to eat. Okay? She would be ella. So we got that part. We take off the ER and our ending is the E. So our answer is she eats, ella come. Ella come. She eats. Okay? Now let's do something a little bit different. I want you to complete the verb chart for the verb hablar. So basically, I just want you to conjugate the verb hablar. So it would be hablo for I speak, hablas for you speak, habla for he or she speaks, hablamos for we speak, and hablan for they speak. Again, for each of the conjugations, notice we took off the AR and we replaced it with the O, as, a, amos, and an. Okay, I want you to do the same thing now with the verb comer. Now we're using the ER verbs. ER index for the ER verb. Okay, I eat would be como, you eat, comes, he or she eats, come, we eat, comemos, they eat, comen. You getting it? Okay, let's do one more. Vivir, to live. I live, vivo, you live, vives, he or she lives, vive, we live, vivimos, and they live, viven. Muy bien. Okay? Now let's see if you can do it like this. ¿Cómo se dice we live? If we know the verb vivir means to live, how do we conjugate that to say we live? Go through the different steps. When you think you have it, it is nosotros vivimos. We took off the IR and we added imos. And you should already know this, but nosotros is we. Let's do another one. ¿Cómo se dice you sing? The familiar, which means the informal. The verb to sing is cantar. Cantar. So taking off the AR, what ending do you think we would add? Tu cantas. We would add the as. Tu cantas. ¿Cómo se dice they read? They referring to masculine individuals. Okay, if the verb to read is leer, what do you think it would be? Ellos leen. Again, we took off the ER and we are left with LE, and then we plugged in our ending for they, which was EN. Ellos leen. All right, I teach Spanish. Yo enseño español. We study a lot. Nosotros estudiamos mucho. Muy bien! And that is all, folks, for este video. I hope that it was a little bit clear for you. No te preocupes. Don't worry. We are going to have a repaso with this. We're going to have a review with this in clase, so don't you worry about a thing. That is all for learning how to conjugate verbs in the present tense and their endings. Y adios!